is Mark Duchesne of Florida's Big Fish Show, here again with Mr. Tim Frederick, local fishing pro. Tim, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing outstanding. It's a beautiful day. Kind of wish I was out there fishing, but instead I got to get ready to go to Okeechobee in the morning, so I'm just kind of getting my gear together.
Although you were fishing yesterday, the day after Christmas, weren't you? Or the day of Christmas?
The day of Christmas. It's kind of a tradition. Me and my brother usually go out after all the kids get the open presents and all the you know, we ate a lot, so obviously we had to let our food settle, but then we went out and stayed till dark. And in fact, right out here, we had a good time. We caught probably 20, 25 fish. One of them was close to 8 pounds, so it was a good Christmas.
For those of you who don't know where we're at Venetian Gardens in Leesburg, right on the shores of Lake Harris. Mr. Tim Frederick, being the local pro, representing Lake County, Florida, doing a great job, competing all over the place. Tim, tell everybody again, how many events are you looking at this year?
To start with, I'll be fishing 14 events. There's 7 events on the FLW Tour, and there'll be 3 with the FLW Southeast Costa Series, and there'll be 4 with BASS Southeastern Opens. I think they call it Eastern Opens this year, but there's a chance for 3 more if I make the championships. There's 3 championships involved, and I'm hoping to fish 17 of them. That'd be a win in my book.
Tim does a great job representing Lake County, does a great job representing Central Florida. Very happy that he's out there doing a great job. I'm expecting, 5 victories this year?
Oh man, I don't want to put that card out there before the horse, but I would sure love it. I feel like I'm going to be a lot more competitive. This is going into my 3rd season, and I've had some success, but once you get a little success, you want a lot more. So I've done my homework, and you know, if I don't catch them this year, it's not because of my equipment. I'll be in a brand new truck. I got a brand new boat, all my tackle, everything's new. It would be on me if I didn't catch them, so I got no excuses. So there's a little pressure to perform now, but I think I'm up to the challenge.
Today's going to be a great day. Tim's going to go through all that he does to prepare for a professional tournament. So we're going to go through the boat, we're going to go through the equipment. He's going to give us some insight as to what he does, what his thought processes are, what he needs to do in order to get ready to win tournaments.
That's correct. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much thought goes into this. That's why I make multiple trips to each event. The first time I go there, I just leave the same equipment that I got on there, just because I need to go there, look at the water, see what the cover is, what kind of fishing I'm going to be doing. I've already made that trip down there. So this time I'm more prepared. I know what I need, and I can actually get rid of a lot of rod and reels that are in my boat. I'm probably carrying 40 in there right now, and I'll probably take it down to 10 or 15. But different line sizes, different baits, different lures, top water, diving. It's just it's a good to go ahead of time to check out what you're going to be doing, so you don't have to carry everything in the kitchen sink. You know, my boat might even run a few miles an hour faster when I take some of this stuff out. And that's important, believe it or not.
There's a question I hear all the time. Obviously, the speed the boats go are way faster than the fish can go. But it's important that the boats are fast. Why is it important that the boats are fast?
Well, when you got 250 other accomplished anglers out there, everybody out there can catch them. And so if you find fish and somebody else happened to find them as well, it's kind of like a boat race to that spot, especially this time of year when fish are spawning. You know, fish are going to be on the beds, and a lot of times you can see them. You're sight fishing. Well, if you know where there's a 10-pounder that you can look at, there might be 10 other people that's seen it as well. So it's kind of a boat race to that spot. The beautiful thing about my boat this year is it handles rough water and it's pretty fast. So I got the best of both worlds this year, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing if I can outrun a few of them boats.
I think it's time we go look at this boat.
All right, let's do it.
Mark Duchesne of Florida's Big Fish Show, here again with Mr. Tim Frederick. Now what we're going to do is go over your boat, Tim. We want you to go through everything you do to prepare for a tournament. What you're looking at, what you're preparing for, what you want to see in water conditions, what you want your boat to do. And then we also want you to highlight your boat and your sponsors.
Sure.
And everything you're doing.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll do a checklist at home. You know, when I'm at my house, I go through a checklist, and it all starts with your boat. You want to be mechanically sound. You want to make sure everything's good. So I'll come back to the back of the boat. Now I don't have my wrench with me for this, but I'll check all my bolts, all the 3/4 inch bolts for my motor. because over a period of time, rough water, they will loosen up. So I'll snug up the bolts, and there's only 4 of them there, and then there's 4 on the jack plate. I happen to do that already this morning, so I know they're tight. Power poles, same way, everything's tight, everything's good. So my Mercury is not gonna let me down. I'm not worried about that. It's best engine on the planet as far as I'm concerned, and it's like a rocket. So I check all my bolts first and foremost, then I'll go to the internal stuff, you know, like putting oil in it. Let me go around and open this up. This is an important part of every fisherman's boat, is the back end of it. As you can see, I got about a 3/8 of a tank of oil, so I'll top that off before I go. All my power poles and everything are in line. There's no loose fittings or anything like that. My batteries are charged. I just pulled them off charge. So everything back here looks in order. My pumps and everything work, that's how we keep our fish alive, you know. So we always go through a check and make sure all our pumps are working.
And with the 250 Mercury, top speed you're looking at?
Depending on how the boat is loaded, but I can get as much as 74 out of this one. Probably with me and another person and all the gear, I'm probably looking right around 71 to 72 mile an hour consistently. The colder the better. These Mercuries, they love cool weather. They love it. They come alive. You get an extra couple hundred RPMs out of it, and it shows on the speed. But more importantly, it's a secure ride. This Falcon boat it's amazing. It's a big, as you can see, a big fishing platform. But when it gets rough and windy, you know, we're susceptible to cold fronts in Florida. Usually we got a north wind at about 15 or 20. And where I'm going to Okeechobee, it could be, you know, it could be standing 6-footers out there. So.
And how long have you been with Falcon, and how long have you been with Mercury?
This is my first year with Falcon and first year on Mercury's Pro. I've had a Mercury my whole career, but this is the first time I've been on their team. And the Falcon boats, as long as I keep them guys happy, I want to stay in a Falcon boat. I'm very impressed with this boat.
We're gonna get Greg to pull away at some point, just so everybody can see how beautiful this boat is.
Well, I know it's a little bit dirty right now, but you know, it's a fishing boat, and I was out yesterday, as you guys know. But this boat is amazing. I mean, the fishability is incredible. All the creature comforts, from my twin Garmins at the dash to my big Garmin up front. It takes. I told you before, it takes a village to keep me out there, and I'm pretty proud to say that I have a lot of good sponsors that help me along the way.
Well, let's do that right now. Let's talk about some of your sponsors. You've been with them many years in some cases. Let everybody know your sponsors, what they're doing, what you're looking for to support them.
Okay, we'll start right here at the beginning. You know, you got Okuma. I've been with Okuma for, I think, 9 years, 8 or 9 years. They cut me back a little bit last year, and now I'm back on with them again. So I use all the reels. I use the Helios reels. The TCS reels are incredible. Smooth, cast a long ways. The drag pressure is incredible. They provide all my reels, and man, I can't say enough good things about them guys. They've even when times got tough for them, they seen things picking back up. They contacted me again, and we're back on board. So I'm really pleased to have them back. Orion coolers, well, when I'm practicing, I got my little 25 quart. It travels with me everywhere. And if you want a cooler that will, well, bear proof, whatever you want to call them, but they hold ice, honestly, in the summertime for 7 or 8 days. You know, I know they're an expensive cooler, but so are the Yetis, so are everything else. But it's the last cooler you'll ever have to buy.
Virtually indestructible.
Yes, and they come with a lot of added features that some of the bigger names like your Yetis and so forth don't. They don't come as standard with the padded top deck, you know, where you sit on it. It's got 2 sets of handles. It's got bottle openers on every corner. And it's even got a cart with wheels on it if you don't feel like carrying them, because they do get pretty heavy from time to time. P-line, I can't say enough good things about them guys either. All my fishing line that I use, the braided line, the fluorocarbon, and the monofilament, is all product of P-line. I've been with them, I guess, for 5 years. Another great company to be involved with. This here is Protect. This is a guy out of Georgia. It's actually chemicals to keep your truck and boat clean. As I say that, mine's really dusty right now, but they have a protectant that keeps them looking brand new the whole life of its boat. I mean, it's got UV protectant in it, so the sun won't fade it. just good guys. We've more friends than anything. We met about 3 years ago at one of the Forest Wood Cups, and we got to talking, and he's helping me out a little bit. And that's my logo. I'm my biggest fan, I guess. I don't know. Ford Press is a local company right down the road. It's a print shop Dean Simmons owns, and I really can't say enough good things about Dean. Dean is one of those guys, kind of like yourself, Mark. He knows everybody in the area. Good people, you know, if you surround yourself with good people, good things will happen, and he's living proof of that. Dean's been working a deal for me for about 6 months with a new ride for a tow vehicle, and he's got me hooked up with Eagle Buick GMC out of Crystal River, and they're going to provide my tow vehicle this year, so I'm really excited about that.
You know, Tim, Ford Press has been doing my work for years as well.
Yes.
They are fantastic at what they do.
Oh, he's incredible. Dean is great. His whole staff is incredible. They do a lot of my, they do all my artwork, and if my resume proposals, they'll get them together for me. Hunter Signs is who wraps my boat. He gives me a little bit of a break on the wrap, so I promote his business. I mean, you can look at the wrap job on either one. That's 2 years old. This is new. There's not a seam, there's not a mark on them. Justin does a great job, and he's local, and I like to use local when I can. Salt Life Sport Optics, I've been with them for 2 years now. A lot of people know them as Bimini Bay Optics. They got a great lens. It's made in Italy. It's a Zeiss lens, and it's like HD vision. It really is. They're good lenses.
So when you're out there on the water, do you switch lens colors, or do you stick primarily with the gray? What do you do?
I do switch lens colors, and unfortunately, Salt Life doesn't have the yellow lenses. As I know, I'm wearing my yellow ones right now. This is for low light conditions. During this time of year when fish are spawning, you can see them in the water. When the water's clean, with low light, this makes the bottom bright. Like you'll see a white spot. These really enhance it. So when I'm sight fishing, I wear yellow. And it doesn't matter what brand to me right this second, I'm wearing yellow. And I've talked to these guys. They got me one close to an amber, but it's still not bright enough. But when the sun's high like it is, you can't beat it. I'll go with a gray. Or they actually call one moss green. That's really nice too. I mean, it's no strain on your eyes, keeps all the bad light out. They're good glasses, but I do switch glasses probably twice at least during the day. TH Marine, I'm new with them. This is my first year with these guys. I've been around them. I've worked a lot of events with them because I worked for Power Pole at a lot of the events. TH Marine provides just about anything you can have on a boat. These blue LED lights that you'll see around the deck, they're a hydro wave up front on the trolling motor, graph mounts that the big Garmin's mount to, that big Atlas jack plate that makes my motor go up and down. All that stuff is T&H Marine. And these guys, I can't say enough about them. They're out of Montgomery or Birmingham, Alabama. Super, super good staff. Really proud to be with them this year. I hope we can build our relationship and keep this moving, because they're like #1 in the industry. I mean, they really have a lot of stuff for bass boats. Mustad hooks. That's the only hook I use. And I've been using them for probably 8 years, and that's all I'm going to throw. They got a variety of hooks, from treble hooks to worm hooks to weedless hooks. I mean, they have everything you can think of, even saltwater. They got a lot of saltwater hooks. Been on board with them, and hope that'll never change.
Great reputation, great quality, hard to go wrong.
Yeah, if it goes wrong this year, it's because of me. It's not because of my equipment. Enigma fishing rods. I matched them up with my Okuma Helios reels. Jesse Tecaranti owns this. He lives in Kissimmee, so it's another local, in-state. Really proud. I've known Jesse a long time. I've been with him 3 years now, and I'm really impressed with him. That's all I have on the deck is the Helios and the Enigmas. And if you can stay local, in-state especially, I try to do it. It's really nice.
So that's what Florida's Big Fish Show is all about, letting everybody know what a great job we're doing here in Central Florida. Not only fishing, but with fishing equipment, fishing tours.
Yes.
And all that goes around with bass fishing and everything else that we can get going out here.
There's a lot of good companies in Florida that provide a lot of equipment for us bass guys. There's no doubt. There's a great example right there. Power Pole. That's probably my longest running sponsor. I've been with them since 2006. Shortly after they first came out. They have all kinds of new creations that they've came up with other than the original power poles, as you see back here. This Vision is basically a tablet that you put in your boat. It's waterproof, shockproof, and what makes it really nice for us pros, if we're out and we got to do social media, if we got a hot spot, we can do our social media right while we're fishing. If we catch a good fish and want to get a picture, you got the forward camera, you get a selfie and shoot it right to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And it's pretty nice. And plus I can get on Google Earth to lakes I've never been on and find little ponds. Like Okeechobee, you can get on Google Earth and there's a wall of reeds everywhere, but there's a pond in there and you don't know it. But when you look at Google Earth, you see it. So then you spend the next 2 hours trying to figure out a way to get into that pond. So it's gonna help out a lot. I think it's really gonna help in the saltwater and the inshore market with these guys, because what that tablet can do, the Vision, it can control everything in this boat. Pumps, lights, all my aerator pumps, my lights. It's got hot shot buttons on it. You can hit one button for whole shot. It will actually trim my motor down, run the jack plate down to where I want it with one touch, one button. I take off and then you hit the wide open throttle button. It trims your motor up and gets you where you get your maximum speed. It's pretty impressive.
We've got artificial intelligence taking over the fishing industry.
Yes, and with today's electronics, I mean, I got Panoptics, which I haven't installed yet. They're gonna put that on at the first event. That's kind of like video game fishing. You know, you see them on your screen in front of you and you actually see them moving. You can see your bait hit the water and you can actually see them come to your bait. I've never done it, I've seen it, and it's pretty impressive, and I can't wait to get it on there at the end of January.
And even the social media, because there's people following you. They're following you on Facebook, they're following you on Twitter, they're following you on other social media. And when you're out there on the water, you're communicating to those fans of yours so they know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, and you know, the tours that I fish do a great job of also representing, you know, and just kind of putting us out there and helping support us with our social media. However, tournament days, they don't want us posting anything, and I understand that. But they do a great job, and they want to highlight their anglers, and the more I get, the better. You know, I hope that someone watching or listening checks my, Tim Frederick Fishing and just checks it out and follows me, and I'll answer any question asked. I might not answer it right now, but I will get to it, and it's just me. So if you have any questions, feel free, put them on my Facebook or Instagram. I'll answer you. And then Strike King is probably the world's largest lure company, honestly. I've been with them for 4 years now. And some of the best anglers in the world, Kevin Van Dam is probably labeled the greatest angler in the world. He's really helped build this company. They've got a lot of new equipment out there now, and it ranges from terminal tackle all the way to saltwater. I mean, they got the gamut of products. I use about 85–90% Strike King.
Great reputation,
yes.
Great products. I know you like them, but everybody's got a favorite. What's your go-to in the Strike King line?
Well, honestly, there's a little crankbait called a Series 3, Strike King Series 3. It's probably I've probably won more money on this chain with that than I have any other bait. I didn't throw it yesterday. There's a certain time I like to throw it, and right now I like to throw lipless crankbaits, the red eye shads and other stuff, but they got a new one out that I probably made more money on last year. It's called they're swing heads. They're like a jig head, but it's a wobble head, they call it. The original one I think was called a biffle bug, but the Strike King's version of it is pretty impressive. You can get a tungsten head, which tungsten, as you know, is the heaviest and hardest, most dense metal out there. So you can actually get like a 3/4 ounce tungsten, and it's half the size of a 3/4 ounce lead, so it comes through grass and stuff a lot easier. So that Strike King jointed head, the tungsten ball is one of my favorites. You can fish any soft plastic on it, and it will catch them.
Of course, Garmin.
Garmin, third year with Garmin. Still trying to build a great relationship with them and promote their product. I'm a little old school when it comes to electronics. You know, I'm learning stuff as I go. So I opted out of the touch screen, which everybody's using the touch, but I got a big zoom knob up there that to me it's faster than a touch screen, and I know how to work this thing. The visual is incredible on these things. I can take you out here and show you stuff that's pretty impressive. I can take you out here and show you a couple sunk boats, rowboats, and it draws them out just perfect. So it's pretty impressive. Again, if I don't have a great year, it's not because of my equipment. But I really feel that it's going to be a good season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I think it's going to be a great season, and these are the sponsors. Let's go over the boat,
Mm-hmm.
and let's let everybody know what you're thinking about when it's time to get in the water and go fishing.
Well, I'm still set up from yesterday, Christmas Day, obviously, but when I first get all my equipment, I usually pull it all out. You know, I'll open my rod boxes, and you can kind of see that there's still 10 or 12 in here, and there's probably 10 or 12 more in there, and then what's ever on the deck. I'll pull them all out, and if I can find one, I'll show you. You'll see right here is a piece of tape, and I'll put what pound test. I can't even hardly read my own glasses. This is 65-pound braid, and I put it on, well, about 2 weeks ago in December. So I'll mark every one. That way I know when I go to a new tournament, if I need to change my line or not. If it's not old and it's not frayed, I'm not changing it, especially braid. Fluorocarbon's a little different. Fluorocarbon wears a little, I guess you would say, harder than braided line. But it's kind of a feel thing. And if I date it when I put it on there, I know that if I put it on there a month ago, it's probably still good. You know, I'm gonna fish with it. Now, if I feel it and it's got nicks in it, I'll just change it all out. Probably the first thing I do is check the line on my rods. Then I'll match up whatever gear ratio on my reel, because each reel's got different gear ratios. For example, this topwater plug, I probably got it on a 7:3 to 1. I have to find it. It's on here. Well, that's actually a 6:4 to 1, but it should be, again, that's why I check. It should be on a 7:3. You like to pick up line fast. One turn of the handle moves it 7 inches, you know what I mean, instead of 6. It makes a big difference. I really enjoy it. It's kind of a passion, so when I get home tonight, because I'm leaving early in the morning, I will do everything I'm explaining to you, minus that I've already done back there. I will match every reel for every rod in every condition that I'm gonna fish. Certain baits require a faster gear ratio than others, so I will match everything up, check my drags. There's really a lot to go into it. All my tackle sits in these 2 compartments. So I will take a lot of it out, as I was telling you, for what kind of fishing what style of fishing I'm gonna be doing. If I'm not gonna be, like Okeechobee, we consider that a power fishing lake. I'm not gonna leave my shaky heads and all the finesse fishing baits that I use when I travel up north. I'll take all that stuff out, lighten my load a little bit, and actually maybe put more stuff in for the heavy fishing. So it's a process, and it'll take me a couple hours to do it. Just sitting down and really doing it, it's gonna take me a couple of hours. Every time before a tournament, this is what you do.
Your equipment can't let you down, because that's
No.
what you've got, and that's what makes you money.
That's exactly right. And I mean, it's like a mechanic. He wants the best tools. I'm a fisherman. I want the best rods and reels and line that I can use, because that is how I make my living. You know, I don't make enough money off my sponsors to where I have to cash checks. I haven't got to that level yet, where there's some guys out there, they make their money off their sponsors, and that's the goal. However, I just wanted my foot in the door, and I'll do the rest. That's kind of the way I looked at it.
When you go to Okeechobee, what do you think is going to take to win that tournament?
Wow, with 250 anglers, the first tournament I'm fishing, the Costa Series, is on the 4th. Wow, 250 guys out there changes things. So I'm gonna say it's a 3-day event, so let's call it, I'm gonna say it's gonna take about 22 to 23 pounds a day. So let's say 69 pounds. I'm gonna go with 69. That's 23 a day. I think that's gonna be close. If there was only 50 boats, I would say it'd probably take 25 or 26 a day. Because right now is time of the year the fish are spawning, and they're big. They've been eating for the spawn, so they're pretty fat and healthy right now. I went down there last week and practiced, like I was telling you, and I caught one that weighed 10, 14, and I was ecstatic. I mean, it was a big fish.
For those that are watching around the country, obviously we're doing a lot right here in Central Florida. We got a lot of people watching here in Central Florida, but they're watching all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that we can get cold here as well. So what are you going to do when you're out on Okeechobee or we're out here on Lake Harris? Temperatures can range anywhere from 36 degrees to 76 degrees.
Correct.
How does that affect what you're doing with your equipment, with your boat, and with everything else that's going on?
Well, without giving too much away that I've learned over the years, I am one of the guys, if you, nationwide, all the guys that come to Florida, the pros, they hate Florida with cold fronts because the fish do shut down. I feel like, because I've lived here my whole life, I got a little edge on them. I feel like I know how to catch them when it's cold. And I really don't want to, I mean, I use reaction baits. And, you know, they're not going to chase anything, so you just got to use reaction baits, whether it's a jerk bait, a lipless crankbait, whatever it is. You're going to make 9 million casts, and out of them 9 million casts, you're going to put it in front of 5 or 6 good ones. So really, you cover a lot of water when it's cold front conditions. If we had a lot of mats, like Kissimmee and Okeechobee does, them mats are covering the top of the water, and they got grass, that, you know, right under the mats like that. Well, that stays warm as the sun heats that mat up. Down there, you just punch a big 2.5 ounce weight through that mat, and they'll hit it on the fall. We don't have that here, so I opt for moving baits. You know, for all reaction strikes. I don't feel like a rubber worm. I don't feel like they're going to chase anything. I feel like you almost have to hit them in the head.
When you're out in the water, we'll go to your first tournament. You're going to hit the water at what time?
For the tournament, I'll probably launch about 5:30 and just sit, park, make sure all my tackle and everything's ready, meet my co-angler. He'll usually help me launch the boat and whatnot, and we'll sit there and we'll talk fishing until daylight. And then with the FLW, you know, we go through the national anthem and everything. We don't take off till 7 o'clock. So, but I like to get in the water early because I don't like getting caught in lines at the ramps. You know, when you got 250 guys that all are thinking the same thing, I'm gonna put in at the last second. Well, that line gets big, and then the next thing you know, someone's late. You know, and I don't want to be. One thing about me, I'm punctual. I mean, as I probably rolled in here late one day, but I am punctual when it comes to that. I like to be prepared. You know, if you launch your boat and you have an issue, well, if I still got an hour before launch, I can resolve that issue. If you launch it at the last second and say one of your batteries is dead or whatever, you pretty much got to go with what you got. So I believe in getting there on time and early if possible. Again, if I have a flat tire on my truck or my boat trailer, I want to have time to fix it and still be on time. So I usually get up around 4 o'clock, get me a shower, go to the store, fill up with gas, do whatever I got to do, get some food and ice, and again, launch by 5:30, and I sit around.
And in the morning, you're going to fish till what time?
Well, it's flighted. It could be from anywhere from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It's usually about a 2-hour window. If I draw out boat number 250 out of 250 boats, I get the last flight, so I get to stay out longer. And that's usually, well, in Florida, it could be 6 o'clock even, 5:30 anyways. So it just depends on what number you draw, but anywhere from 3 to 6, let's call it that.
You wouldn't know, you're probably not keeping track, but in an average day when you're out in the water, how many different rod reel combinations are you going to go through the course of a day in your competition?
It's a great question, and the answer is simple, is if I'm on fish, 1. If I'm kind of hunting around that I'm not on a whole bunch, I could have as many as 10 on the deck, and I'll use every one of them because you're kind of searching for fish the whole time. So if you're on a great pattern, 1 to 2. If I show up and you see 2 rods on my deck, that's when you need to worry because I'm on them. But if you see 10 or 15, then you probably don't have a lot to worry about because I'm just like you, I'm searching, you know, I'm looking for everything. But I say on an average tournament, especially out of state, I'll have 10 on the deck.
Well, that's the advantage of this Falcon boat and that Mercury motor, because if you're not catching them there, you're going to get to where you're going to go so you can compete.
That is correct. And, you know, these new Mercuries are pretty fuel efficient. But again, you're in a tournament, you're fishing for $100,000. I'm not going to run 30 miles an hour across the lake. If I can save 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes is probably 10 casts for me. So every 5 minutes is 10 more casts, and that's the way I look at it. And each cast is that potential for a big fish. So you just got to stay after it and stay moving and running and gunning at times. I don't like to have to do that. I really like to get in one area and really fish it good. However, if they're not there, I have to move and I have to find something. So there's so many variables in bass fishing. You know, it's a very humbling sport. You know, as good as I think I am, there's guys out there that are just incredible. Their knowledge between their ears. I think in Florida, I think I have that. But when I'm learning so much when I go out of state, it's incredible. And I'm learning from good guys. So, man, I'm excited. I really am. I'm giddy right now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fish.
You're doing a great job representing Lake County, representing Central Florida. You've been fishing a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're excited about this upcoming year.
Mm-hmm.
17 events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's call it 7. Yeah, let's call it 17. Let's do that. No pressure.
Great sponsors. Of course, I can't help but notice down here as we sit in Lake County, that's
the granddaddy of them all. I'm more proud about this one than anyone on the boat. Obviously, they're my title sponsor. They pony up good dollars, and I, in turn, I bring them tournaments here. So for what they pay me and for what I bring in, it helps all the local economy, the local business owners. I mean, some of the local business owners really thank me and my buddy Adam that I was working with on this for bringing everybody here. You know, it's estimated that when the tour shows up here, it brings about 1.5 million to the local economy, and I'm glad to be a part of that. You know, because as a resident, a longtime resident, I do have a lot of friends that are local business owners. So anytime that I can help my friends out and they're helping me out, it's a win. I can't say enough good things about Lake County. I don't want to live anywhere else. I love it here. And the guys at the tourism board at Lake County have been amazing, you know, and they're longtime residents as well. So these guys right here, there's big things to come with them. You know,
Lake County, Florida is committed to fishing.
Yes. Yeah, they've you know, they've got some new blood in there, so to speak. You know, in the past 4 or 5 years, there's, you know, kind of changing of the guard. Someone will retire, someone will move in. Well, the guys that have there have vision. You know, they have vision to what they want this. They're on a gold mine right here. This Harris Chain of Lakes is a gold mine for tourism. We just need to put it out there. If people would come here and fish and realized how good it is, especially from December to April, it's incredible. This chain right here is probably going to be the best fishing lake, if it isn't already, in Florida.
For those of you that are watching from different parts of the country, get on the internet, see what's going on in Lake County, Florida. Look at the Harris Chain of Lakes.
Yeah, check out lakebigbass.com. They got all the lodging and guides if you want to hire a guide while you're here. This place is incredible, and I think everybody should. You know, we get a lot of people that go to Okeechobee every year, and that's fine. Okeechobee's a great place, but they're passing a place that's just as good, if not better. This place is incredible.
Just this lake right here, Tim. Tell everybody how big this lake is.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the exact acreage is of this lake. I don't, but it's. I can tell you this in miles. From here to the other side where you see the cranes way over there, that's where the bridge is that separates Big Lake and Little Lake Harris. I think it's 9 miles from here to there. And then as far as north and south goes, it's again 9 or 10 miles, you know, long and wide. But there's so many backwaters, you know, shoreline, and I hate to say that, I don't know what the mileage of shoreline is. If my buddy Adam was here, you know Adam could spit it out like that.
But we're sitting right here, we're talking 9 miles over there. We're talking 9 miles point to point.
Correct.
This is a big lake.
Absolutely. It's the biggest one of the chain. Well, no, not necessarily. We got Lake Apopka that's about 2.5 times this size, so it's big too. But you got 9 different lakes on this chain that you can go to and you can fish in a day. It's pretty incredible. And each one will fish a little different. You know, I got a lot of questions last year from tour anglers. Hey, Tim, what lake is it going to be one out of? And my answer was so generic. I know they probably thought I was lying. I said it can be one out of any one of them. And I wasn't lying. It could be one out of any one of them. So if you don't know the area, I would stick to this lake. Since we're putting in right here, you got a lot of lake to cover. You don't have to even get lost going all through the canal systems and whatnot. You can win it right here. It's a pretty great place to fish.